very valuable and important in our society. This work isn't generally treated that way because of the devaluation of women's work, because of the legacy of slavery in who's doing this work. Farm workers and domestic workers, primary fields of the slave population in this country, are the two kinds of workers that are excluded from the National Labor Relations Act and from various labor protections. And so we really see our fight as part of ending the legacy of slavery in this country, as well as part of the long fight to build value for this really important care work in our world. So the New York Bill of Rights is an incredible step forward. It's the first time that domestic work is being recognized in labor law in this country. And in a really historic step forward, the domestic workers had built enough power in New York to actually win 3 days paid leave per year, which obviously is not enough paid leave for any worker in the world, but it's the first time that any paid leave has been legislated for any kind of worker in this country. And so in that way, it's a huge step forward. California's next. And tomorrow night in Massachusetts, a coalition of immigrant rights organizations and domestic worker groups will be meeting to plan for their Massachusetts Bill of Rights campaign. So we're on a roll, momentum is building, and we're also working towards a national campaign to fundamentally continue this work of transforming how we value care in this society. Many domestic workers do elder care, whether or not they're trained as elder care providers or they entered into this work as that being their primary focus. But our population in this country and around the world really is aging. And in the U.S. particularly with the baby boomer population, by 2030 the estimates are that there will be 40 million people needing some kind of in-home care or direct care. And right now there are 3 million direct care providers in the U.S. And so what we're looking at is the jobs crisis and economic crisis, the crisis for immigrant communities in the U.S. right now, and the lack of potential around the comprehensive immigration reform, and the crisis for domestic workers and the lack of labor standards there. So and this growing aging population. And so we're working towards something that we're calling the Caring Across Generations Act. And I just mentioned this because this is another space in which working together with the families that are hiring domestic workers and the domestic workers is going to be what's actually critical to winning the fight and to transforming the values in our society. And so what we're wanting to do is to create a training program to create 3 million new direct care jobs in the U.S. and to ensure that those are good jobs that have standards and that have access and the right to organize and become part of a union. That 1 million domestic workers could legalize into that training program, and so that they would have access to a visa status with a path to legalization, recognizing that this is an area of work that this society needs and currently doesn't have. But a lot of these women are actually already doing this work. And to create a tax credit for the families that are paying someone to care for someone in their home. Am I missing anything about that, Daniel? Where are you? There's like 6 points to the bill. So this is a long-term campaign. This Congress is not going to vote for this legislation right now. But what we're really excited about is that through the process of building this long-term campaign, everything that we do in the process is work that we want to be doing anyway, in terms of base building and movement building and coalition building and the kind of media work to transform the values in society around this work. All of that is work that we want to be doing anyway. And so this campaign provides both a visionary goal that we need and a mechanism to do that important work that we're looking forward to. So we hope that the employers group in California will be really critical in passing the California Bill of Rights and will also play a role in this national work that we're moving towards.